August 28th. Funny how a date can sit there on a calendar like it's nothing. Just another number. Just another page ready to be torn away. But then it creeps closer, and suddenly that little square carries weight. A heavy, suffocating weight. Because you know on that day, someone you love is walking away. Not a stranger, not a passerby. No, someone who mattered. Someone who carved their name into your heart is about to leave. And isn't it strange how the world keeps spinning? People keep laughing. The sun keeps shining, while for you, everything feels like it's cracking apart. You wake up, and you realize the clock doesn't care. The minutes don't care. The universe doesn't care. Tick, tock, tick. Talk closer it comes. Time doesn't pause just because your world is breaking. You know, that's the cruel little trick of it all. The clock doesn't stutter, doesn't cough, doesn't hesitate even for a second. It just keeps on ticking. Steady, merciless, mocking you with every click of the second hand. You could be kneeling on the floor, your chest tearing itself apart, your mind screaming loud enough to crack glass, but the clock is deaf. The sun rises, the sun sets, and the world spins as if nothing in you has shattered. Isn't it strange? The way life pretends not to notice. People keep walking. Buses keep running. Laughter fills the streets. And yet inside, you are carrying a wreckage no one else can see. That's the twisted beauty of time. It doesn't wait for your grief. It doesn't stop for your heartbreak. It doesn't offer a single ounce of sympathy. You sit there, thinking maybe, just maybe this day will be different, that the universe will notice what's happening to you. But it doesn't. It slams you with routine. The morning coffee still tastes bitter. The traffic still jams. The news still flashes its endless nonsense. And you realize, painfully, that you're the only one bleeding on the inside. Because while your world has cracked open, the rest of the planet has the audacity to keep breathing. Isn't that the most maddening part? That you can lose someone, love someone so deeply, and when they leave, the stars don't even flicker. The ground doesn't split open, the heavens don't cry with you. Just silence, indifference, and the tick-tock reminder that everything keeps moving without you. And then comes the fear, that terrifying whisper that maybe you'll be stuck in this moment forever. That time will keep going, dragging you behind it like some half-dead passenger, while the rest of the world moves on. You watch people smile, celebrate, start new chapters while you're still trying to stitch yourself back together. But here's the thing, that's the game, isn't it? Time is ruthless, but it's also revealing. It shows you just how fragile you really are, how small your problems look compared to the machinery of the universe. It teaches you that you can't bargain with it, can't bribe it, can't slow it down. The only choice it leaves you with is this. Either let it crush you or learn how to crawl with it. And isn't it funny how crawling becomes walking? And walking becomes running even when you swear it won't. One day you're drowning in the minutes, every tick carving into your skin, and then slowly, you realize you're still breathing. You hate it at first. The idea of surviving without the one who left. But then you begin to see something twisted in it. That time, the same cruel beast that refused to stop is also quietly forcing you to adapt, to endure, to become something harder, sharper, more untouchable. It doesn't pause for your heartbreak, but it also doesn't let you rot in it forever. It drags you forward, whether you like it or not. And maybe that's the bitter punchline. You think you're falling apart. You think you can't handle the silence, the absence, the hole left behind, but time doesn't care about your protests. It drags you forward kicking and screaming, and in that struggle, you become something you never thought you could be. Something stronger, something more dangerous, something alive despite the loss. Because the truth is, time doesn't pause when your world breaks. But maybe that's the only reason you survive at all pain of losing someone teaches you what strength really means. Not the kind of strength people like to brag about. No, not lifting weights. Not fake smiles in front of cameras. Not hollow words about being strong. I'm talking about the kind of strength that doesn't look like strength at all. The kind that drags you through nights where your chest feels like it's been carved open, where breathing feels like a punishment, and where every thought cuts like broken glass. That kind of strength is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It whispers, it crawls. It hides inside the cracks of your suffering. And you don't even know it's there until you realize you're still standing when you thought you'd fall forever. You see, people think strength is about control, about never breaking. But the real strength, the one carved out by pain, is the exact opposite. It's about breaking, and still continuing. It's when your hands shake so badly you can barely hold a glass, but you drink anyway. It's when your body is exhausted, yet you drag it through another day. It's when your heart feels like a hollow cave, but you still step outside, pretending you're part of the living. That's strength, the kind no one claps for, the kind no one sees, because it happens in silence, in shadows, in the quiet wars you fight alone. And pain, oh, pain is the perfect teacher. Cruel, unforgiving, but honest. It doesn't lie to you. It doesn't sugarcoat reality. It strips everything down, rips away your comfort, your illusions, your little lies about how safe you are. It shows you the truth, that everything you love can be taken away in a single heartbeat. And in that brutal lesson, pain forces you to evolve. You learn that you can't control what leaves, but you can control what stays inside you. You can keep the fire burning, even when the wind tries to smother it. That's what strength really means, carrying flames in a storm, protecting something fragile when the whole world wants to crush it. Funny thing is, you don't realize how strong you are until you've been ripped apart. You don't discover it when life is smooth, when everything is neatly in place. No. You find it in the ashes. You find it when you're sitting on the floor, staring at nothing, realizing the one you love is gone, and yet, here you are, breathing, blinking, existing. You hate yourself for it sometimes because you think survival without them is betrayal. But it's not. It's proof. Proof that pain didn't kill you. Proof that you've carried a weight heavier than your own soul, and you're still crawling forward. That's strength. Not pretty, not glamorous, but raw, unpolished, undeniable. And then something darker happens. You start to realize that pain changes you in ways you can't reverse. The things that once scared you don't anymore. The little annoyances, the tiny dramas of daily life, they mean nothing because you've already lived through something worse. The worst. Once you've faced heartbreak, once you've watched love slip through your fingers, everything else loses its edge. You've been stabbed by life itself. Paper cuts don't scare you anymore. That's another form of strength, isn't it? The immunity, the armor you grow without asking for it. Pain is not just a teacher, it's a blacksmith. And it forges you into something harder than you ever wanted to be. Of course, nobody sees this. To the world, you might just look tired, maybe a little colder, maybe a little quieter. They don't see the battlefield behind your eyes. They don't see the nights you've fought yourself to stay alive. They don't see how every step you take feels like dragging chains, but you take them anyway. They don't see the strength pain has drilled into your bones, because it doesn't shine, it doesn't roar. It just exists, silent, steady, unshakable. A strength born from loss, the kind you never asked for, but the kind you now carry. Whether you like it or not, every goodbye forces you to meet a new version of yourself. It's funny, isn't it? You think you know who you are. You think you've got yourself figured out. Your habits, your routines, your silly little comforts. Then someone you love walks out of your life. And suddenly, that version of you dies with them. The person who laughed with them. The one who shared secrets. The one who found joy in the small, stupid details. That version doesn't exist anymore. It's gone, carved out of you like it never mattered. And in its place, you're left with someone else, someone you didn't ask to become, someone unfamiliar staring back at you in the mirror. That's the strange thing about goodbyes. They're not just an ending, they're a rebirth. A violent, messy rebirth. You're dragged into it kicking and screaming, whether you like it or not. You wake up one day and realize your smile doesn't stretch the same way. Your laugh doesn't sound the same. Even the way you walk feels heavier. Because every goodbye takes a piece of the old you, and without it, you're forced to rebuild. And rebuilding, oh, that's the cruelest part. Because you don't rebuild out of choice. You rebuild out of necessity, out of survival, out of the sheer fact that the world doesn't care about your brokenness. And so you adapt, you morph, you transform. But here's the trick. You never know who you'll become. Sometimes you become colder, sharper, harder, like a blade that's been through the fire. Other times you become softer, quieter, more distant, like smoke fading into the air. Every goodbye reshapes you, and it doesn't ask for your permission. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just happens. One moment you're the old you. The next moment you're staring at someone who's carrying scars that weren't there before. And the scariest part, you can't go back. You can never go back. The old you is buried with the moments you lost. And the new you is all that remains. And isn't it twisted? How we pretend we're the same. How we tell people, I'm fine, I'm okay, while deep down we know we're lying. We know we've changed. We know we've been altered. But admitting that feels like admitting defeat. So, we hide it. We laugh at the right times. We nod when people talk. We carry conversations as if nothing has shifted. But inside, we're studying this stranger we've become, trying to understand them, trying to tame them. And sometimes that stranger frightens us. Sometimes they're too bitter, too numb, too detached. Other times, they're too reckless, too hungry, too alive. Goodbyes don't just change you. They unleash parts of you you didn't know existed. And then comes the realization that maybe, just maybe, this new version of you was always there, buried beneath the surface, waiting for the right kind of pain to bring it out. Because pain is a sculptor and goodbyes are its hammer. Every hit, every crack, every break, it shapes you into something new. And though it feels unfair, though it feels like you've been robbed of the person you used to be, deep down you start to see it, that you are not the same. And maybe you were never meant to be. Maybe every goodbye is life's way of ripping away illusions and forcing you to confront what you truly are, of course. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't just wake up and accept the stranger inside you. No, you wrestle with them. You argue, you deny, you resist. You cling to memories of who you were, trying to squeeze yourself back into old skin that no longer fits. But over time, little by little, you give in, you let go, you stop fighting. And you start to realize this new version of you isn't weak. They're just different. They carry shadows in their eyes, sure, but they also carry fire in their veins. They know loss, but they also know resilience. They've tasted heartbreak, but they've also tasted survival. That's the price of every goodbye. You bury oneself only to discover another. A stranger at first, but a part of you nonetheless.